And now, next up is Parasite. Now, this is the movie that I saw this year, and I put it out, of course, before I did my best and worst list, or before I actually uploaded it. And it was kind of late to it, but after I saw it, I'm like, yo, this is gonna have to be put on the top list. I had to bump a movie off, but yeah, I mean, but still, this deserved to be in it. I honestly don't like foreign language films. I don't like to sit there and read while I'm watching my films and stuff like that. I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, you're missing out on a lot of great films and da-da-da. It's just, I don't know, that's just not my bag. If I want to read, I'll read a book. But, I mean, that's just not my stand. I would still watch certain ones, but I'm not about to be sitting there, more than often watching it. It's rare that I might come across a movie that I watch foreign language. But this is one of those movies I decided to give a chance due to just the hype around it and the consistent talk of how good it is. And I'm just like, I had to prepare myself, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead into it. I know I'm going to do a lot of reading, but let me see if I can enjoy this and blah, blah, blah. So I give it a chance. And honestly, as well, me as well as my brother actually thought that this was going to be a horror flick. I didn't really pay attention too much to the trailers. So I just went kind of cold into this. With the name like Parasite, I thought it was going to be a horror film. But, yeah, and as I'm watching, I'm waiting for the horror thing to happen. I'm like, okay, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? And it never did. But once it began and it started to kick into what the movie actually was offering, I'm like, yo, I'm down with this. I like this. But it's about a teen who gets a job tutoring, who comes from a lower class family, and slowly he begins to pull the strings to unknowingly to the family that he works for, get his family hired in as the rich family's help. As they're integrated into the family's life, the manipulation, lies, and deceit start to happen, as well as it start to backfire as circumstances change, which alters both families' lives. And that right there is a great sounding movie. What I liked about this film is that it has a great tone to it. The tone is great. And it has a lot of humor. The humor is there, and it's done very well. And this movie is fun. It's you can have fun with this, and it's just dopely entertaining. You can literally get into this movie, even if you're a person like me, and you don't like foreign language films, you don't like to read your movies and all that stuff. You can get into this movie and have lots of fun with it and be just really entertained by everything that is on screen. And the look of the film was great. I mean, the movie was just awesome to look at. And the way it was shot, I truly appreciated. The director did a great job, even just from an audience member point of view, because everything flowed together nicely. The editing, the visuals, and even learning that a lot of the film, even though it looked like it was shot on location, really wasn't. Certain things were put in by computer to make things look better than what they were. And honestly, it was done seamlessly, because I would bet that the majority of people that seen this movie probably didn't even notice it. And what you could take from it is that this movie is a smart film, and I love the way that it showed that. The shift in the movie really worked for when things change, and it continues to keep you engaged and very interested within the story and the characters. And I just love that aspect. And speaking of the characters, the story will really get you invested in caring for the characters as the movie goes along. You'll be entertained by the stuff that they're doing to get inside the home. But at the same time, even though you know what they're doing is wrong, the charisma of the characters leave you to go along with what they're doing. So then you find yourself wanting them to get away with it, and are smacking yourself in the forehead due to the certain mistakes that happen. And you can only feel that way about characters that you really care about. And this movie does that really well. The writing is exceedingly good as well. And just overall, this movie is one of those movies that if you have not seen it, and even if you're like me, like I said, not a fan or a big fan of foreign language films, definitely check it out, because by the end of the movie, you're more than likely going to end up loving this. This movie is a definite hit, and I would highly recommend checking this movie out. If you got Amazon Prime, I believe it's on Amazon Prime right now, so you can go on, cut on Amazon Prime, and watch this movie, because this movie is worth checking out.